When you picture a tiger, you probably imagine a massive cat with a bright orange coat stalking through a sweltering, dense jungle. But then you encounter an animal like this, trudging through sub-zero blizzards covered in thick snow, built specifically to survive the bitter cold. This map of Asia reveals why both versions are true. Historically, tigers thrived across this massive area, spanning all the way from the Russian Far East down to the Indonesian islands. As they extended, geographic differences sculpted them into 9 distinct forms. Today, biologists group these 9 historical subspecies into 2 primary evolutionary branches. You have the continental tigers living on the mainland, and the Sunda tigers, isolated on the southern islands. To understand the tiger as a species, we have to look at how it physically adapted to conquer each of these unique environments. But we have to look fast, because 3 of these 9 forms have already disappeared. Our map starts in the extreme north, in the frozen birch forests of the Russian Far East. This is the territory of the Amur tiger, an animal built like a winter tank. Surviving here requires highly specific biological tools. These are the absolute largest tigers on Earth, with males reaching 12 feet in length and pushing 900 pounds. They carry a thick, insulating layer of fat, and their coats are noticeably paler, with fewer stripes, serving as excellent camouflage against the snow. They once shared this immense size with a close genetic relative, the Caspian tiger. Caspian tigers ruled the riverine forests and reed beds of Western and Central Asia. But the Caspian tiger is completely extinct. Their disappearance in the 20th century proves a hard truth about conservation. Absolute physical power and sheer size offer zero protection against human hunting and habitat destruction. Moving south to India, we find the population stronghold. With over 3,000 wild individuals, the Bengal tiger is the archetype. This is the bright orange, boldly striped predator most of us recognize. Their high numbers come down to extreme ecological adaptability. A Bengal tiger can live comfortably in dry grasslands, temperate forests, and even the flooded mangrove swamps of the Sundarbans, where they spend a surprising amount of time swimming between islands. Compare that success with the South China tiger. They are slightly smaller than Bengals, sporting narrower stripes and a look that biologists often describe as older or more primitive. You won't find a South China tiger swimming in a wild river today. No one has reliably observed one in the wild since the 1970s. The entire remaining population lives restricted behind chain-link fences and glass in captivity. A species can have brilliant biological adaptability, but without vast, protected wilderness to roam, an entire subspecies becomes little more than a genetic emergency trapped in a cage. Pushing deeper into the tropical rainforests of mainland Southeast Asia, the dense foliage demands a different kind of predator. Here we find the Indochinese tiger. Navigating tight, crowded jungle terrain requires a more compact frame. Indochinese tigers are roughly 20% smaller than the Bengal tigers, and their darker coats help them blend seamlessly into the deep green shadows. Cross the border into peninsular Malaysia, and you meet the Malayan tiger. They are even smaller, and their situation is dire. Decades of habitat loss and hunting have reduced their wild numbers to fewer than 150. These rainforest specialists face a silent killer. Even when their trees remain standing, poachers often empty the forests of deer and wild pigs. A predator cannot survive in a jungle that has no prey. Finally, we cross the ocean into the Indonesian archipelago, entering the territory of the distinct Sunda tigers. Living strictly on the island of Sumatra, the Sumatran tiger is a master of camouflage. It is the smallest and darkest of all living tigers, featuring dense, ultra-narrow stripes and a thick, bearded face that breaks up its outline in the darkest parts of the rainforest. Biologists call this island dwarfism. When a population is trapped on an island with limited space and smaller prey options, evolutionary pressure physically shrinks their bodies over generations to match the environment. But living on an island has a fatal flaw. When humans expand agriculture and build plantations, the tigers have absolutely nowhere to retreat. That strict geographical trap has already erased the Sumatran's closest cousins, the extinct Javan and Bali tigers. This animated map shows the reality of the modern tiger. What was once a massive, continuous blanket of territory across the Asian continent has been fractured into tiny, isolated, scattershot islands of habitat. As a species, the tiger possesses an incredible biological superpower. Over millennia, it molded its body, its coat, and its behavior to conquer everything from freezing taigas to sweltering tropical islands. But evolution requires thousands of years to work, and humans can lay snares and clear-cut forests in a matter of days. Securing a future for the tiger requires actively protecting the specific natural worlds that shaped them. If we fail, the last living regional forms will eventually join their extinct cousins as stuffed displays in museum halls.